So we're only 4 days into 2024, and Stephen A. Smith has already given us college football's worst take of the year. So on First Take the other day, this dude had the audacity to say that the Rose Bowl should be moved to SoFi Stadium. And it just goes to show you that Stephen A. Smith doesn't watch a lot of college football, and he doesn't understand what makes college football the great sport that it is. What makes college football the second most popular sport in America is because of the tradition, the pageantry. Like the Rose Bowl is college football's most iconic stadium. Like the Rose Bowl, people make the argument that it should be hosting a national championship. Now, I don't agree or disagree with that statement. All right, it's just that I understand both arguments of it. But to say that the Rose Bowl should be moved to SoFi Stadium because of traffic, it's hard to get to the stadium, like, that's nonsense to me, Stephen A. Smith. Like, if you want to beat the traffic, guess what you should do? Get there early. There were people who went to this game who left their houses and made it to the stadium at 7:30 a.m. in the morning. If you want to beat traffic, you got to get to these games early. And the traffic at SoFi Stadium isn't no better from what I heard. I got a homie that goes to a lot of Chargers fans, and he says that the traffic is always awful anytime he goes to a Chargers game. Now, the Rose Bowl definitely has to improve the way that you can get to this game, because it's only like a one-way path of getting in, so of course it's going to be highly congested. But suggesting that the Rose Bowl being moved to SoFi Stadium would just take away the tradition, which is college football's oldest tradition, by the way. Did you know that the Rose Bowl is college football's oldest bowl game? Like, they made this thing back in 1902. Like, why do people want to continue to water down this sport and continue to shit on this sport all because of the traditions? Well, there's nothing wrong with change. Change has to come eventually. Like, my mom used to tell me that not all change is great change. And the changes of the Rose Bowl location would take away from the game itself. What makes the Rose Bowl such a great experience is where it's at. In Pasadena, California. Like, the city and whoever else pretty much owns this thing. They won't change the time. Like, they have the same kickoff time damn near every single year. Like, the Rose Bowl is one of the best games in all of college football. And changing the location of this game would be the equivalent to all the changes that have occurred in college football when it comes to NIL and the transfer portal. And not a lot of these changes have worked out for the best of the sport. And changing the Rose Bowl would continue to damage what has made college football the sport that it is today. Like, I don't get why all these talking heads and the national media fail to realize what makes college football so great. The pageantry, the traditions, the stadium atmosphere, the atmosphere that you get at the Rose Bowl can't be replicated at SoFi Stadium. It's not about, oh, how great the stadium looks and shit like that. It's about celebrating the tradition of this sport, which is the Rose Bowl. The Rose Bowl is the heart and soul of college football. And it really irks me how people just seem to not really understand why college football is great. Because of the traditions. It seems like people don't really have a high level of admiration for the tradition and the pageantry of college football. And that's why I love college football. I'm not one of those people that think that the NFL is better or college football is better than the NFL. Like, I enjoy watching both products because I'm just a diehard lover of football. I eat, breathe, and shit football, bro. I wake up thinking about football every single day. So for Stephen A to make these comments further demonstrates how this dude doesn't really follow college football like that. He doesn't really have a great understanding of what makes the sport the sport. The sport is what it is because of the traditions, because of the stadiums. If you want to find a way to beat traffic, get to the damn thing earlier. This thing was sold out. Like, I was kind of jealous going on X and seeing everybody post videos being at the Rose Bowl with the jets flying over the stadium, taking pictures of the sunset. Like, my goal for this year, one of my New Year's resolutions, is to save up enough money so I can go to next year's Rose Bowl. Because not only is it a spectacle, but it's one of those memories that sticks with you for a lifetime. Like, I was watching Josh Pate's story when he went to the Rose Bowl and he was recording all these videos. I was so jealous. I was like, bro, I got to get to a Rose Bowl game before I die, bro. Like, I love college football, and I hate the fact that people come on here and they want to just try to erase the tradition of this sport. Well, change has to happen eventually. The change that we've gotten in college football has made this sport worse. In a sense of, yeah, the ratings are up and things like that, but look at all the madness that we got in the transfer portal. Look at the madness that we got from NIL. Like, the Orange Bowl and the Cotton Bowl aren't even the same anymore. The Orange Bowl used to be such a bigger bowl game than what it is now. Like, you literally have people calling the Orange Bowl meaningless. You see, when you change the locations of these events, you change the events themselves. What makes the Rose Bowl is the Rose Bowl parade, the celebration that they have, the pregame traditions that they have. Traditions is what makes college football great. And I know I keep sounding repetitive, but a lot of people who aren't diehard college football fans who just casually watch the sport miss the big reason of what makes this sport tick. Like, you get people who always complain about the stadiums and whatnot. Like, the stadiums are like landmarks in college football. That's why they don't make a lot of renovations to them, because how they look, the model of how they're built is contributing to the overall atmosphere. It's what gives the sport identity. You see, like, if you don't care that much about tradition and culture, you watch the NFL. The NFL isn't really about traditions. They don't really have any traditions at certain NFL stadiums that you go to. If you go to a Jaguars game, they're going to be playing the same music there that they're going to be playing at Arrowhead Stadium. Same thing if you were to go to a Baltimore Ravens game. Like, these stadiums may have a few things that makes them different in the NFL, but overall, going to an NFL game, no matter who you're watching play, it's the same experience anywhere you go. Going to a college football game, though, going to the Rose Bowl isn't the same experience that you would get if you were to go to a Cotton Bowl or if you were to go to an Orange Bowl event. You see, like, Stephen A. Smith, with this take, and a lot of his co-hosts, like, none of his co-hosts agree with this. Like, Marcus Spears was saying, Stephen A., like, just stop it. Like, he kind of looked a little bit embarrassed of what Stephen A. Smith was saying. Like, change the Rose Bowl location, the SoFi Stadium. Like, are you mad, Stephen A. Smith? Are you mad? Like, Stephen A. Smith, I know you're probably not going to watch this, but if you do watch this, I hope that this segment gave you a little bit of an education of what makes college football this great sport, the second most popular sport in America. Not just the games, but the tradition. College football is rooted in pageantry. And it took me a while to understand this. I'm only 21 years old, going on 22 years old, and I never understood why some of the old head fans of this sport who've been watching since the 60s and 70s used to get so pissed off with the transfer portal, the new regulations, the new rules, the NIL and whatnot. And now the more and more I continue to watch this sport, the more I start to understand why traditionalists push back against the changes that are getting implemented in college football. It's because they don't understand the traditions that have made college football the sport that it is today. Going to a college football game is like the equivalent to going to a damn Super Bowl in a sense, although it's not the same magnitude. We know that the Super Bowl is the biggest sporting spectacle in the world outside of the World Cup. But, you know, it's just, I just hate how people just try to shit on traditions in college football. Just because they're old, they may seem like they're out of touch. Like, I disagree with that, bro. I love college football. And the reason why I love college football is because of the Rose Bowl, because of what the Cotton Bowl used to be, because of what the Orange Bowl used to be. You see, college football is dipped and rooted in tradition and pageantry. And when you change the location of the Rose Bowl, you change what the game is. There are players who dream of playing in a Rose Bowl because they want to play in that stadium. So Stephen A. Smith, bro, this was the worst take when it comes to college football that I've heard only 4 days into 2024, man. Like, this was an awful take, Stephen A. Smith. Like, you definitely missed on this one. I love you, bro. I got nothing against you, bro. I like listening to your podcast, Stephen A. World, every once in a while, bro. Really entertaining, and you're a really entertaining person, bro. But, man, you really missed on this one, bro. This was a giant miss. This was a huge air ball for you, bro.